Hello, my name is John the Green. This is my anime board demo. This app is actually still in development, so it's not completely finished yet. So there's some features that aren't available right now, but for the most part, it's still demo ready to show some of the features that it has. If you watched my previous video, one of my apps in my portfolio, my weather app, you'll see local data and cloud storage being used there, which will be implemented for this app. But as it stands right now in the development stage, it's not there yet. But without further ado, let me launch my app. As you can see right there in the bottom right anime board, just click that and watch the splash screen. It goes to this, and it gives me a narrow checker with my alerts that I have connected to my cloud logic to help me go through the development stages for that I'll be going through get my cloud up and working right now. But right now it's loading a whole bunch of undefined because, like I said, my cloud is not set up yet. I have the code there, starting the stages for developing and implementing it, but it's not completed yet. So I'll just click OK to pass this error checker. Now you see it has a login screen. You can input the username and input the password. And those text fields also contain uh, hints for the user, the username hint and the password hint there in a fade out gray. As you can see, the background image. If you watched again my previous video about my weather app, I mentioned a UI module that takes an image that I would have applied to a view, and as that image is expanded to match the size of the view container that's in, that UI module keeps the aspect ratio so that it's not stretched out and distorted, so that the aspect ratio is respected throughout the scaling of the image, which is a really awesome module. But let me go ahead and continue to the app. So you log in here, and you must have a login with Hummingbird.me. So which is the whole reason why this app exists, so that the user can access their data and information and use features of that site through my app. And also, the password doesn't have is not covered right now, but that again will be fixed later on as I get through the development cycles. So there you go, hit login. Logged in. Now you have three different options. You have user, you have library, and you have anime. The only one that's not working right now is user. Like I said before, this app is still in development, so I'll be completed once we get to that stage of the development cycle. But I'll go to the first one, which is library. Here it loads up all of your library, all the animes in your library. That's just an error checker for me for my API. And this loads all the animes from your library on that site. If I can show you guys the site, so you guys see what I mean. On this site right here, on anime, on hummingbird.me, you have your library. Every user has a library. In that library, it contains all of your anime in your collection. Ones that you plan to watch, which I have here listed right here, and then some you already have completed, or ones you have on hold that you started to watch or you didn't want to complete, and once you dropped. This library is loading that information. So you have all these animes right here, and I plan to add a status to it so they know which ones they have completed, which ones they have on hold, and which ones they plan to drop, or which ones they're currently watching but haven't completed yet. I plan to add statuses for those so they know. But as for now, I have this in the split view window, which is only for iPad. As of now, in iOS 7, I think it is, only iPad has this view, and this app is made solely for the iPad. But let me go on and show you guys what happens when you click one of these. You click one of these, then you have a poster image come up along with a synopsis, a summary of the anime, and then you have a community rating for the anime, so you have an idea of how good the anime was received by the community. And then you have issues like this sometimes where you have text that may be too long for the view, but you can just drag it up like this. It continue rolling. And that's the case with all of them. Like I said, I plan on adding more UI elements and GUI and GUIs, no more graphical user face elements, so that it'll be a little bit more appealing. So you can see the status of it. You can see other members' reviews, not just a general summary of it, and maybe even add your own review as well. And also for my app, if you want to go back to your previous window, you just slide your fingers across any part of the screen and go back to your previous window. Now the next part is the anime section. Here is where you search through the huge library. There's over 9,000 I think that this API has. To add or to like you do at a library, look through the bookshelves, look through their catalog to see what books might interest you. In this case, animes that might interest you, and then you can add them to your library and see if you want to, and start watching them, and then just maintain that categorized, um, organized library of anime. I need to mention that Hummingbird.me has three separate APIs. I'm only implementing two of them right now because the third one is not accessible to you unless you're given direct permission by the actual developers of the site, because they actually have you need permission to for their mangas, because they have whole mangas on here, I believe, and you need permission to actually be able to have those mangas on your app, because those copyright materials, and you can't just give them out to anybody to have access to all of them. So you need to be connected with them and give them permission by them to actually use their API to access certain content like that. But as far as I'm concerned, I'm only using two. There might become available later because I am in talks with developers right now, but as of right now, I only have two of them. But with this part right here, you search your calendar, like I was saying, and I'll just show you. Let me see if I can find one for you. I'll go here. Let's see if I can find a good anime to search for. So if I go to explore what's trending, I'll see some anime come up. Let me search. Okay, I'll search this one. Okay, I'll search Simian. Here we go. Now, this is an issue with the actual API and not my app. Let me show you guys what I just typed in the name of the anime right there in my app. Now, what happens is I'll show you guys when it has an actual image, but they don't all have preview images when you search for them, and that's just the issue with their site and with their API. But this a lot like the library gives you a summary of the anime, but instead of giving you community rating, it gives you the NPR, I think it's called, rating of PG-13 or PG or whatever the anime may be. It gives you an option to add to the library as well as a play button to play a trailer of the anime to give you more idea if you would like to invest the time in watching the anime. So if you have the YouTube app actually installed, because it doesn't play through the app, it plays through the YouTube app. So you have the app installed, you click play, it'll launch the YouTube app, and if it had a trailer, it would play. This one doesn't have a trailer. I can find one that does though. If you guys want to see that, before I do that, I'll show you guys when it has a trailer and when it has an image. But the add to library, just click add to library and show you guys, so you guys know I don't have it in here. I'll go back to my library, dashboard, library. Okay, so this is called Simon, Simon. As you guys can see, it is not in here. It's like currently in my refresher, so you guys can actually see it. Anime is not in here. So if I click add to library, it gives me an authorization alert, an error checker, let me know that I'm authorized to edit this user's information, which I am because I have the credentials for it. Click OK. It says alert posted, so I know that's posted to my library. So now if I were to go back to my library, you see a new one being loaded. It gives me synopsis as well as the community rating and a poster right there for it. So let me go back so you guys can actually see an anime that actually has a poster and a working trailer from YouTube. Black Lagoon. Okay, hit search like normal. See an error just come up. Alright, this is R17 Plus. Hit play. Alright, it loads. Black Lagoon. It goes through an ad. Skip ad. And there you go, is your trailer. And since this is a YouTube app, you have all the features of, as you would normally if you just ran the app as a standalone instead of through my my actual app. And full screen it. Do whatever you want to do with it. But as far as that is concerned, that's the gist of it right now. And I hope you guys enjoyed this demo of Anime Board. And I hope you guys like to use it once it's finished with its development and I actually launch it onto the App Store. But my name is Jonathan Green once again, and hope you guys enjoyed it. Goodbye. Okay, so here's my code for my app. I went back to the first screen so you guys can walk through it visually as I go to the code. So here, if this was an Xcode project using Swift or Objective-C, this would be your view controller page. Right here is app.js file, but anyway, what I'm doing is I stated a variable start, which has a value of this require method. And this require method is requiring my login.js file, so I have access to everything in there through my app.js file. And as you see through this app, what I do is I use that same concept throughout. I just require what I need, so like a chain reaction, like a domino effect. I can pull what I need to, and I take me to another window, and I pull what I need to, and it takes me to another window. But here we go. I fire off my login. Well, I fire off my login function, which is inside of my login.js file, by pointing the start variable and then a login function that's attached to the login.js file. And inside of here is what you see here. You see again requiring, using the same require methods, I can do what I need to after I'm done with this login page. I create my window, which is invisible. There's no color to it, but it's just a container window that expands the entire size of the actual device. And then I have my image right here, which is that big image in the background with Blastoise to the left and Charizard to the right. And you can see that it's expanded to the entire size of the window, but it's not stretched or distorted because it's using that UI module that I created. If you saw my last video for my weather app, I used the same UI module there so that my image can expand to the size of my container view without being distorted and keeps respect the aspect ratio so that it'll expand to an aspect ratio that'll keep it from being stretched or distorted. So the next thing is my text fields. The first one is the user text field, which is right here, user text field. My next one is my password text field, which is right here. And then my login button, which is right here. And I have an event listener added to my login button. So when I click login, it'll grab the user's input for both of those text fields, and it'll pass it through my main variable, which contains the required method that is pointing to my main window.js, and pass it into the parameters for my main window function inside my main window.js, which is right here. And down here with Titanium, they use these to add everything to whatever view you want to add it to. That's what these are. It's adding the different elements to the parent view. But inside my main window.js, same concept, requiring everything I will need later to push to later. And let me just log into it so I can get to that same point on the next screen. So log in. Okay, now here's main window.js. So you have the main window function, which is accepting the two username, which is accepting username and password that I was pushing to it from here to the event listener. And that is going to push those same parameters to another function that's being called the require method. But as you can see right here, my main window, the main view, which is creating my main view, and then within that view, I'm creating three more, which is my user, library, and anime right here. User, library, and anime. And then my images are being created as well in the same way: user image, library image, anime image. And this is using the same UI module so that the image is stretched out to the size of the container while losing its aspect ratio. And down here, these buttons up here, you can see user, library, and anime are being created right here. And the positions and everything on the in the UI are being stated as well. And down here, I have event listeners, like I did with my login button in the very beginning, add to each one of these buttons, and I actually add it to the whole view as well. You click anywhere in the view, and it'll happen, it'll fire off. And then all the information that's needed is being passed to those actual event listeners running the function that points to the variable that contains the require method that grabs the actual window, the JS window that I need, JS file, however you want to call it, and then pushes those parameters to that function. That's what's inside that JS file. So as you can see here, I'll show you my first one, the library. This library view has an event listener added to it. So when I click it, it runs a function that fires off, that grabs the library file, which is this variable that contains the require method that is pulling this library window right here. show you guys library window. Here we go. Let's pull in this library window right here, and within that library window is a function called lab, which is short for library as well, which I'm passing the username parameter through. So if I click to library on my code, and then I click library on my app, you can see what's going on. First thing I'll do is I'll start with my API.js. So you can see that what's happening is I'm requiring my API.require method, and what's going on is that it's creating all of the user interface and graphical user interface elements, like the split view window right here. And I'm sorry, that's a scroll view. I'm sorry. Here we go. The split view window right here, which is this view with the line going down here, a bigger one to the right and a smaller one to the left. And it's containing, it's creating the image space for the main image, and it's containing the space for all the content that will be added to it once the API loads it. So you have all this UI elements that are being created, and as you see up here, like I said before, my API is being required in my API window. And if you go down here, you can see that I actually call that method, so I can actually push all of my UI elements, my main image, scroll view, rating, title, year, label, as well as a username, so I can have authorization to my API to get data function. So this get data function fires off, and it is ready to receive all those parameters, and then it plugs them in. So what happens is that I take my username and I take my my request header information, and I run the client method, and I send out information to the client, and I give it the URL with the username value implanted into the right location in the URL. And what that does, it pulls a JSON object from the Siphon API, and from there I parse through it down here using a simple iterator for loop, or JSON, the parse method to parse through it, obviously, and then using this to just show the point to this current instance, and then I'm using iterator, simple C loop iterator to iterate through all the JSON objects. And then as I need, I attach each one to each piece of the UI element that I need for the previous window. And because I have, where's library at? Because I have everything required, I'm able to access everything from my API, and my API is able to access everything from my library. So I'm acting as if this is all just one big, large JS file, but it's not. And that's basically how my code is ran through each individual window. As you can see, the same thing will happen with anime. We go to anime, we'll do the same thing. Require the API. It'll go through the API data and JSON object that the API data contains, and do the same thing. It'll pull the information you need. The only difference between this one is actually post to the API as well into that database, which is I use 3 different methods for that. First one I use is the authentication method, which this one does. It gets username and a password and what you're trying to search for. And if username and password are correct, it gives you a certain code that you have to plug in to actually post to the user account. And then another one, which is fine, it's searching to the API, but where's it at? The post method gets the authorization from the authorization function that I made, and then plugs the information in here so that the anime you're trying to post, you can post to your library. But it's the same thing throughout my app. I just have functions nested inside, but other functions passing parameters and requiring different JS files, so I have access to them and they have access to each other, so my code can run through smoothly. But that's my Anime Board app. Hopefully you guys will be interested in using it once it's up in the App Store and I finish developing it. But hope you guys enjoyed this demo, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.